Hey everyone. So I wanted to address the Trump clip that's circulating right now where he's talking about the Epstein files and Pam Bondi's going over just everything. Here it is.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Okay, so basically that is like the opposite of what we know to be Trump. It's 180 from his character, it's a 180 from the narrative, it's a 180 from so many different movements. I mean, even the first day that he was in office in 2016, he signed an executive order to end trafficking, to end human trafficking. And this has been a huge story. So for him to all of a sudden come and play the opposite card, everyone's freaking out, obviously. And, you know, the whole mind control sort of emotional reactivity thing is working. I'm not really emotional about it in any kind of way because I know that there's something going on behind the veil of all of it. What? I'm not quite sure. But even people like Alex Jones are getting emotional and just like pretending as though we're just completely screwed. And here, you have to watch this clip.
Now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. It's because I have integrity. And, I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country. And they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out.
So yeah, it's very interesting. Even Alex Jones is getting emotional over it. And a lot of people are just jumping into conclusions and they're just like, oh, I knew it all along. And I think we have to remember that Trump is always talking about central casting. He constantly keeps bringing up central casting. And if you don't know what that is, central casting is an agency in LA. I used to belong to it. It's when they have actors and background characters, and they're used for all movies and all TV, and it's what makes a movie, it's what makes a TV show. Anytime you need a primary extra or just background characters or whatever, you get called. You have a photo on file, and that it was all the rage back in the day before there were like camera phones and stuff. I mean, it's still going, but I think that we need to remember that there's multiple people playing multiple roles, and that includes Trump, that includes Elon, that includes Biden, that includes Kamala. There are two Trumps. One of them's, at least two. One of them's very animated and sort of jokey and funny, and the other one's like really serious and speaks kind of firm and is they're two different ones, and they speak very similar, but they have like kind of completely different vibes, and so it's kind of hard to know what's going on. Is one group of people controlling the entire narrative and every single version of Trump and every single version of everybody, or is it multiple parties, throwing out different press conferences and situations to throw everybody off scale? If you don't have a connection to God, if you don't understand that we are in biblical times, and you just don't, and you allow all of these narratives to control you or get you emotional or harvest your energy, it will not be a fun time. The more we can get in touch with God, and the more we can understand the power of prayer and pray for the truth to come out, because I'm not going to pretend to know. I love Trump. I voted for Trump. I don't regret it. But there are definitely some alarming things that are in the climate right now. There's a lot of arrests that I feel like we should have seen already. Is it possible that they've already happened and we just haven't seen it on the main stage? Totally. Is it possible that they haven't happened at all? Yep. There are literally endless possibilities to what's going on in the world, and there's so many influencers that just come on and they're very like black and white, and see, I told you I was right, and be careful when you say that, because everyone always jumps on board with like a narrative, and then like within 72 hours you regret it because everybody jumped onto that gravy train or whatever, on that surfboard of emotional reactivity. And that's exactly what they want, and so it's very weird. It's like they're playing flip-flop with the narrative. Some of the things that he's saying, it's like he knows, like whatever Trump says, usually mainstream media will oppose it and the left will oppose it, and lots of people will get angry and demand whatever the opposite of Trump wants is usually what they want. And so now when we're seeing like flip-flopping of different stories where he's playing like the opposite side, and saying like, who's Epstein, and like, why are we talking about that creep? And, it's just like, what? Excuse me? Like, it was such bad acting. I can't believe anyone really it's real. We saw it. It was aired. That was the Trump that speaks very firm and harsh and is not very animated and jokey. That was the Trump that we just saw in that clip that's saying like, what? People are still talking about this creep, like we've got all this stuff going on with Texas and people are talking about Epstein. Like the entire narrative was like flipped on its head. So there is a very strategic movie at play. And I don't want to say like, trust the plan. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, oh, we're watching a movie, sit back and eat popcorn. I'm not saying that either. But we do have to be aware that there are groups controlling what we're seeing. And there are different versions of different people. They've been using these tricks for a long time. The three-letter agencies have been doing these tricks for a very long time. And it's really hard to know what's really going on. To me, when I watched that video, I was just like, what is this? Like, I couldn't take it seriously because it just looked like really bad acting. Pam actually did a pretty good job of, playing like annoyed or agitated. But yeah, if this is actually true, and we're going down a timeline where our admin right now is going to play that role, like that's very alarming. But I just think that it's like we need to put it in the cloud and kind of witness what happens over the next week and couple of weeks. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm not saying trust it. I'm saying like, let's see what happens, because there are so many things that we need to see occur. And there are so many things that we as a collective and we as a country need to fix within our government infrastructure that's not cool, that's not okay. And And if the story has changed, from the time that Trump ran until now, and if there's a chance that he's compromised or that he's been blackmailed or, that they've offed, some people close to him enough to the point where he got scared. And so he's just going to go along with whatever story and we're all just in the same boat. But, I'm always like I go to God regardless. I'm not trusting Trump. I'm not trusting any narrative. I'm not trusting any president or any specific idea or storyline, because I'm aware that it can change, and I'm aware that God is in control, not any president, and there's just there's so much we don't know. There's so many things that we don't see, and everybody's controlled by the TV, and everybody's controlled by their screens. It's black magic. We're constantly getting spell casted on. So wake yourself up and don't let these screens control you, and don't let these screens tell you exactly what's going on. Like, get in touch with God and see what God has to tell you. Like, where does God want you? Like, where could you make a difference? How could you make a difference in your area or in your local community? Or, we have to go about our lives in a different way if we ever want to see change. And yes, a lot of this is all very entertaining. I love politics now. I think it's very entertaining, but it is very also scary, and it's hard to take any of it seriously because we have had mind control and spellcasting working on us for so long. And so it's very easy to get caught up in it. It's very easy to go down rabbit holes of all hope is lost and doom and gloom, or to the opposite pendulum too, like where, we're going into the greatest timeline ever and everything's going to be great and hunky-dory and we won't have to ever worry about anything ever again. And I would love for that to happen, but I'm prepared for anything to happen. Like I'm not so sure because I'm aware of Bible prophecy, but, as long as I have me and Jesus, and that's all I need. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to end it there. God bless all of you, and just, stay mindful of what's harvesting your energy, because these are screens. These are black scrying screens. They're black mirrors, and you're staring into them and getting emotional over it and being like, I'm going to let this dictate how I feel right now and get angry or think I know exactly what's going on. And there's so much CGI. There's just so much fake stuff happening. So at least, pay attention to the clues, central casting, fake news. We are going into times where things are shifting majorly. And if we don't have discernment and we don't have a connection to like what the Holy Spirit is telling us, then we're going to get pulled in so many different directions, and it may not be for our best interest. So much love to you guys. Bye.